I want to share something deeply personal today. So, some time back, when I was working with my corporate job, I had a colleague, someone whom I worked with every single day, and we laughed together, we worked together, we exchanged ideas together, we cribbed together about our boss, shared deadlines, and you know what? That's how the friendships are there on the workplace, right? But life had other plans. I took the career break, and one day the same colleague called me for interview. Uh, and there is an interview inside his office, and he is running his own business, and I went there. Now, when I went there, I expected something out of my mind that he'll be treating me like I'm like kind, and he'll be treating me with support. And instead of that, what I received was humiliation, and his tone was changing, and I was observing that his body language, his questions were feeling like he's throwing knives, and he spoke if actually the burden, the gap as a burden, and he questioned my gap, he questioned my self-worth, and for the first time in my life I felt like crying, I felt like small, I felt like embarrassed. I can still go in that moment and feel the same emotions, and this page of my life is always in front of my eyes, always. And whenever I do self talk uh, with me, I still can feel brutal feeling, and I say to myself that I'll show to him, and I'll prove that I'm worth it, and one day he'll regret speaking to me like that. And I was not um, chasing success anymore, I was chasing validation. And that's the most exhausting race of all, because I've read so many books, and I've been into my coaching journey. My coach always says that you need no validation at all. You need only you need self validation. You need to prove yourself to you, not to others or not to the society. And I was reading this book again, the Bhagavad Gita, by Devdutt Patnaik, and I read this story in this book, and I can totally relate this situation with this story, and I thought I'll be sharing with you. So it is not about only religious, because when I was reading this story, I was connecting this with my emotions, which I had. And it's more about, the story is more about deeply loving somebody, and uh, you know deeply loving to such extent that you don't care that what word will think about that, and what word will say about that. And this book is absolutely amazing. There are a lot of stories in it, and this story is not just about love, it's about devotion, it's about courage to go against the word. It's a story of Radha and Krishna, and it is not that romance we grew up hearing every time. When I was small child, my grandparents, my dada, my dadi used to tell a lot of stories of romance of Radha and Krishna, but this one has a lesson. You might be thinking that, okay, we have not heard this. Okay, so I'll start the story here. you know there was a sadhu, and he said that, who loves Krishna more? So, is it the queen who lives with him in the palace, or Radha, the girl who lives in Vrindavan? Okay, so Krishna did not answer that question, and the days passed, and the Krishna fell sick, and not only sick, terribly sick. And his palace doctors tried everything, but nothing was working that time. And everybody was so tense, the atmosphere was too so tense, and the queens were panicking, and the whole kingdom was waiting for some miracle to happen. And then Krishna said, very shocking, that only the dust from the feet of somebody who truly loves me can heal me. And he said this kind of thing, that this kind of fever came earlier to him as well when he was in Vrindavan. So imagine the silence in the room at that moment. The queens were so panicked, and they were saying that, our feet. So he's our husband. Uh, how can we do something like so disrespect, such a thing that we give the dust from our feet? What will be the word say? And, you know, uh, their love was real, but their identity was trapped in the social rules. Okay. Um, and the wives, their devotion had conditions. And in fact, what I would say that the wives' love had boundaries. So somebody went to Vrindavan, and when Radha and the gopis heard about that Krishna is ill and terribly ill, and he needed this particular dust, so they did not hesitate. The gopis and the Radhas, they did not calculate anything. They did not fear what will people say, what will the world say, how will people judge us. They offered the dust from their feet, and no questions asked, in fact. Okay, no fear what will happen, what is the consequences, no worry about hell or heaven or society or respect or anything. Why? Because, the real love does not ask what will people say. Real love asks what does he need. And the palace wives had proximity. They were very close to him. The queens loved Krishna as their role, but the Radha's love had purity, because Radha loved him as her truth, and the word sees um, the wives as, acceptable and norms, and the queens, they were fitting into the role, and their expectations were set by the culture. So they were official wives, and the relationship was more recognized by law, by society, by tradition, and their love is, socially acceptable. People respect them because they follow norms and they follow rules. Okay, so now, love without negotiation is the kind of love very less, or the universe recognizes. Okay, now most people today love like queens. We care about image, we fear judgment, we protect our ego, we love with rules. But, Radha teaches us a different truth. Love is not what you feel, love is what you are willing to give without anything expecting back. And the queens wanted validation, and the Radha wanted nothing. And that made her love truly, truly special. And that made her love everything. Think about your relationship, think about your career, think about your dreams. Are you acting like queens? Waiting for approval, waiting for permission, waiting for recognition? Or you living like Radha, fearless, unconditional, aligned with your truth? Because universe always choose Radha's energy, because Radha's energy is unconditional, not the ones who stole, somebody who stays close, but the one who stays far away, but who's true, whose love is true, whose energy is full of true love. So think about that, and if this story stirred something inside you, then comment true love below.